What's cracking, guys? It's Bruce Matson, your host of the show of Metric Scout Fantasy Football, and people's been flooding my inbox lately, asking me about Rashad Bateman. They want me to talk more about him. They want to know what to do with him on their fantasy team. So let's dig into him real quick. Last week against the Bengals, caught 3 balls for 80 yards, looked good. I went over the highlights on that, his game film, couple days ago. You can check that on the channel. In his 2 games combined, he's caught 7 balls for 109 yards, seen an 18% target share, 109 air yards, 9.1 average depth of target, has a 14% share of the Ravens' air yards, and has been targeted on 21.43% of his routes. So every 5 times he runs a route, roughly, he gets a target. So that's pretty good. So again, from a volume standpoint, workload capacity standpoint, efficiency standpoint, Rashad Bateman's looking good. We just need that to turn into fantasy production. Last week, he hit double digits. You can't really complain about that. Going forward, Ravens are going to be on bye this week. Sammy Watkins could come back in the fold, coming back from the injury. That could impact the distribution of targets. We kind of projected that going into Rashad Bateman's share, but really we are looking at Rashad Bateman more of a speculative asset that we're buying on the cheap weeks ago, stashed on our offense, and we're just seeing if he hits. And if he does hit, good. If not, if you have to, drop him. But really, the offense is really going to start kicking it up, possibly, with him here in the next few weeks. Because 1, Bateman's got 2 weeks into the offensive game plan. 2, they're coming out bye, so they're going to have him schemed up a little bit more, work on some routes, some packages, and all that stuff. And then we're going to get in some matchups that are pretty favorable. We got Minnesota in week 9, Miami week 10, Chicago, which will probably be a lower scoring game, week 11. Then we're getting divisional play. Browns, Steelers, Bengals with some Packers mixed in. We got some matchups that could go off for him, and really we're holding to see if he goes off, and you probably mix him into your lineups as a flex whenever your injuries and bye weeks hit you. Again, Bateman does serve some utility for your offense, for your roster and fantasy. We're just seeing if the boom comes. There's a good chance of it since he's a highly talented first-round pick. Seeing snaps, coming back from an injury, already seeing a good portion of the targets, portion of the air yards, and is really working himself back into the fold very quickly. Again, we saw him do some great things over the offseason, burning DBs, running crisp routes. He's showing that on the field right now. They like to run him on some drag routes over the middle so you can make that yak after the catch. It's good to see. We saw that a lot last week against Cincinnati. I imagine they're going to continue with that. And you don't hear any negatives really about Bateman's play. There's been maybe 1 or 2 plays that weren't great, but really, all in all, you can't really complain about him. We just need the volume to start coming, especially from a fantasy football perspective. But honestly, he's a good hold. Hold as long as you can to see what happens. I understand if you got to make a move, if you got to patch up another position on your roster, or if you had a trade come by that's very beneficial for team. Always make the deal that makes your fantasy team better. I always do that. I get it. You want to hold a player that you like. That's cool, but always make that deal that makes your fantasy team better. That's always a smart move to make. It's common sense, but it's easier said than done. I want to thank you for watching the show, sticking with me. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on the way out. Every subscription matters. Fuels me to keep putting out this content on the daily, going over film, and then also going deep in the metrics. I'm doing it all for you. Not many people, probably not anybody is really doing that. This is a rare channel that you can take in free content, so make sure you hit that subscribe button. But I want to thank you again, and I'll catch you next time.